Serving all of Michiana from South Bend, we are TV 22. From WSBT TV, where news comes first, this is Eyewitness News.
Good evening, I'm Mitch Henck. South Bend 4th District Council member Ann Puzzello has decided to seek a second term. Puzzello told a crowd of supporters today at an East Side restaurant that she wants to see the completion of many projects. She mentioned the development of the East Race area, downtown, and the baseball stadium. Puzzello also wants to keep the Near East Side zoned as residential to prevent more traffic problems there.
Suffers quite a bit from the development, the apartment development that took place in the Mishawaka area, right near around Grape Road and Hickory. We have a tremendous amount of traffic on the northeast side, and we wouldn't want to make that worse than it already is. It's very difficult to drive out Edison or in that area during the rush hour.
Puzzello admits she has been questioned for her vote on the baseball stadium, but she believes in the project and is standing by her decision. Well, Kosciuszko and LaPorte counties are the only two yet to be recounted in the 3rd District congressional race. With 4 counties complete, Republican John Hyler is officially leading Democrat Tom Ward by 50 votes. Both Kosciuszko and LaPorte counties use punch card systems to tally votes. That is also the case in Elkhart County, where a number of mistakes had been made. Parties on both sides will spend this week trying to reach agreement on which of the 1,400 remaining contested ballots can be considered valid without going to the recount commission. Then a week from tomorrow, the final round of hearings are set to resume. Well, authorities and volunteers in Walkerton have still not found the elderly woman who walked away from her nursing home on Friday. Today's search for 82-year-old Blanche Ricks was called off just before 5:30 this evening. Police say they have found several leads, but still no trace of Mrs. Ricks. She wandered away from Miller's Mary Manor on Friday just before the snow hit. Police do not think foul play is involved in her absence. They do urge anyone who may have had an idea of the woman's location to call the Walkerton Police Department. Well, Benton Township Police are investigating an attempted murder which took place at around 5:30 this morning outside the Midnight Riders motorcycle post on Town Line Road. Police say 21-year-old Anthony Drake of Benton Harbor was stabbed 3 times in the back with a butcher knife. Drake has been treated and released from Mercy Memorial Hospital in St. Joe. The suspect is believed to be a black male in his late 20s who stands about 5'6". Well, Vietnam veterans of Michiana took a big step forward tonight in their effort to build an area memorial to honor those who fought in Southeast Asia. Tonight at South Bend Century Center, an auction was held to raise money for the project. Organizers are pleased with the turnout in this post-holiday period.
We started preparation on it roughly August, I guess it was, and we've done pretty good with it, really. We've got quite a good response from the community. We'd like to see more, but we did all right in the short time we had.
The Vietnam Memorial Executive Committee is hoping to raise up to $100,000 for the project. So far, plans are to build the memorial in South Bend's Howard Park. Ideas on design are still being taken. Committee members hope to begin construction sometime late this spring. Well, former Indiana Congressman John Bradamus has joined the current battle over President Reagan's budget. Now president of New York University, Bradamus says the White House plan to cut federal aid to education puts more of a financial burden on students.
This administration is pushing even more and more young people into borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. It seems to have an infatuation with borrowing. The problem that a lot of young people are going to be faced with, I think, is becoming indentured servants, as it were.
Well, the president's budget proposal would cut federal aid to education by 12.5%. Currently, students can pay back loans at less than market interest rates. Under the president's plan, students could borrow up to $50,000 for their education, but they must pay it back at prevailing rates. White House Budget Director James Miller defends the plan.
There's no such thing as a free lunch. The cost of higher education has got to be borne by someone. Now, what we're talking about and the changes that are in the budget would save taxpayers $2.4 billion, and that ain't peanuts.
Well, Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger is firmly defending the president's call for a $23 billion increase in military spending. Today, Weinberger said any cut in the proposed budget would compromise our national defense.
The fact is that we have to have a balanced program. We have to ask increases because, as was pointed out just a moment ago, the threat to the United States, the reason for having a defense budget at all, has not only not decreased, it's increased. The Soviets have an ability to, and they have made major increases now for over 23 years.
Okay. Well, just ahead, congressional leaders have reached a stalemate in the Iran-Contra investigation. We'll have that story coming up.
Basney Ford is officially announcing a brand new program for 1987. Make your best deal on either a Ranger pickup or a Bronco 2, and we will give you either 3.9% or up to $600 cash back. Remember, it's truly your choice. You can't go wrong. Basney works on the price, and Ford gives you 3.9% or up to $600 cash back. So hurry to Basney Ford on Island Road, South Bend, and get tremendous savings. And that's a fact.
There's a notion going around that in business today, the only thing that matters is price. At Bath Associates, we believe service to be of equal importance. You see, writing property and casualty insurance for your business is only a part of what our business is all about. The other part is taking time to listen to your needs, help you get more for your insurance dollar, and settle your claims quickly, fairly, and honestly. Because if our insurance programs don't work for you, there won't be much insurance work for us. Bath Associates, insurance leadership attained through skill and service.
Two key Senate leaders investigating the Iran-Contra affair say they won't know what actually happened until former White House aide Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North testifies. In the meantime, the debate has not been focused on what happened, but why it happened.
No one has come to us and told us specifically that the president did know early on or that he did authorize the diversion of funds. Now, having said that, I don't see there's any way we can reach a final conclusion on that subject, especially when we've not yet heard from the person who would know whether or not the president told him to do it, and that's Colonel North.
I think the biggest mistake was ever agreeing to allow arms to become a part of the overall policy of trying to establish a relationship with whatever factions exist in Iran. I think that he was correct in trying to reach out and find some other option other than one of total hostility to the Iranian government, of seeking ways in which we might prepare for a post-Khomeini regime.
Well, demonstrations today in Los Angeles turned violent when a group supporting U.S. aid to Nicaraguan Contras clashed with a group opposing it. Police struggled to keep the scene on Wilshire Boulevard from getting out of hand. Tempers flared on both sides as demonstrators traded insults. One anti-Reagan demonstrator was mobbed and, according to one spectator, was hit by a picket sign. The man suffered a slight head wound. The pro-Reagan rally was held to demonstrate support for U.S. policy in Central America. White House Communications Director Pat Buchanan was invited but did not attend. Well, it was allegedly caused by one drunk driver, but the damage from last night's gas explosion in Utah nearly forced the evacuation of an entire Salt Lake City suburb. John Hollenhorst has details.
It looked like a combat zone with glass and debris scattered hundreds of feet in all directions. At the center of the blast, a blackened pile of rubble that used to be the Don Blair photography studio.
It's not one of the largest fires we've had here in Murray, but to me it's one of the most devastating as far as the damage around us.
Could it have been worse?
Could have been much worse.
It all started with a minor auto accident. A car out of control plunged through the front of the building, breaking through a natural gas meter connection. Moments later, a tremendous blast tore apart the building, injuring a half-dozen firefighters and police who had responded to the accident. A roaring blaze completed the destruction of the photography studio. Even if the explosion had never occurred, this building would have been destroyed anyway later this year. Ironically, it was scheduled for demolition as part of a redevelopment project. But there was a lot more lost in the explosion than just a building. The explosion also destroyed little pieces of people's lives. Family portraits, wedding photographs, high school yearbook photos. Some people came looking for their negatives.
They were due to be picked up this next week. And I was curious to see if there was anything left after I'd heard of the fire.
Well, those negatives were sitting right next to my enlarger, which was somewhere in this general area over here. But I don't see any enlarger, and I don't think there are any negatives left either.
The Don Blair studio was on the verge of celebrating its 40th anniversary, and now 40 years worth of negatives are gone forever.
Generations of families have been able to, depend on us. So that part of it is devastating. It doesn't necessarily mean that, we're going to just pick up the pieces from where we're at and put her back together.
The car, which caused one of the costliest traffic accidents in Utah history, was driven by 43-year-old Jeannie Thompson of Murray. After she was treated for minor injuries, police charged her with drunken driving. John Hollenhorst for CBS News.
Well, just ahead, Paul Silvestri will be here to tell us about some more unseasonable weather when we come back.
Every day, the average American hears more than 1,000 commercial messages. Most of them go in one ear and out the other. But there's one event that's too big to ignore, with drastic reductions on all 4 samples, one-of-a-kinds, and new overstocked items. Highland's chain-wide inventory blowout, where this countertop microwave oven with automatic timer is just $77.
Highland's inventory blowout. Everything's priced to sell on site. Oh, one more thing.
Sale ends Saturday.
What a nice, warm way to wake up.
With a full-bodied blend of today's important topics and fresh features.
News, weather, and eye-opening information. It's the morning program, the beginning of a great day.
All that plus local news, weather, road conditions, time, and temperature. Monday on WSBT TV. I'm Norm Stanglin. It all happens Monday morning at 6:30. Wonder who makes their coffee.
Well, Paul Silvestri is here with weather, and we just keep waiting for winter to happen, but it just doesn't come, which was fine with everybody.
Well, I'll tell you, Mitch, of course, we had a little taste of it Friday afternoon and Friday evening. We picked up some snow across Michiana, but we are indeed in store for some warmer temperatures as we head into the first portion of the week. Let's check out those temperatures today, and we will notice, again, the high temperature, 33 degrees, low temperature, 22 this morning. And I don't know about you, but it is really windy and kind of cold out there this evening. The wind has really picked up, and also creating a little bit of a problem on some of the north-south roads with the snow blowing across the roads in certain areas. Just a trace of precipitation in the past 24 hours. Checking out our snowfall total so far this season, we'll notice normally in South Bend, 72.8 inches. And so far this year, we started off in October below normal, to say the least. We didn't get any snow in October. Then we did okay in November, a little bit above the 8.3 inches that we normally get. But December was certainly the downfall of the skiers and snowmobilers across the region. Only a little bit less than 5 inches of snow, when normally we get a little bit more than 1.5 feet. And January now appears as if it's trying to at least push into normalcy for us as far as our snowfall season is concerned. We now have 8 inches of snow for January so far and 22.5 for the season. It appears, though, as if that 8 inches of snow may be melting off a little bit over the next couple of days. Certainly not tonight. It's cold around here right now with this pocket of cold air across Michiana. And again, combined with the wind speeds of 20 miles per hour or more at times, are really giving us wind chills. Very, very chilly this evening. This cold air will be with us tonight, but notice out to the west, some very warm conditions this evening continuing across the Dakotas, and actually some rather hard-to-believe temperatures for January the 11th in the Plain States today. North Platte, Nebraska, got up to 64 degrees, set a record-high temperature. That is really warm. Rapid City, South Dakota, almost made it to 70. It was 68 degrees in Rapid City. Huron, South Dakota at 54 degrees, and Bismarck, North Dakota, got up to 49 degrees. A lot of records set across the northern plains this afternoon. For us, it appears as if some of that warmer air will be moving in our direction, but not tonight. As I say, it's going to be kind of cold around here tonight. Just a few clouds, really nothing too major going on. South Bend National Weather Service radar will show there is no precipitation occurring across the region. Again, I should remind you, though, that those roads are becoming a little bit snow-covered in certain areas, and some slick spots certainly are developing, especially on the north-south roads with that west-southwest wind blowing the snow from fields and open spaces across the road. So keep that in mind as you're doing your driving tonight. 22 degrees currently. The wind is southwest at 13 miles per hour, giving us a wind chill index right now of 1 degree above zero. The relative humidity at 84%. The barometric pressure holding steady at 29.78 inches. Now, by tomorrow afternoon, things looking pretty good for us. There could be a few clouds around here, but I guess we'll call it partly sunny for tomorrow. The warmer air will be moving in our direction, but we have to keep in mind that with the snow on the ground, it's kind of hard to warm the air up. So I don't think we'll see temperatures probably much warmer than the mid to upper 30s across Michiana. They could touch 40 in certain spots, but again, that snow cover will keep us a little bit on the cooler side than it would have been if we didn't have any snow on the ground. Look at these warm 50s and 60s, though, out to the west of us, again across the plain states. They'll move in our direction again during the day tomorrow, and by Tuesday, mild weather across Michiana with temperatures in the 40s. And I should also mention, I know we're going to go to a break in a moment, but I do want to mention before we do that the fact that we do have a very powerful cold front in the northwest portion of the country that has potentially the possibility, I think, to bring us some very chilly conditions for Thursday and Friday. So we'll keep this in mind. Could be a cold end to the week, but till then, some mild air is moving our way. I'll be back with my forecast right after this break.
Jordan Toyota starts the new year with a money-saving super sale at our new Toyota Truck Center. It's big, it's loaded with new Toyota trucks and vans, every unit price to sell. We carry America's largest selection of custom van conversions, like this custom aerodynamic unit, and van prices start as low as $84.25. Our Knock 'em Dead super special, this Jordan Value Package truck at only $88.54. Our prices do the talking.
Whatever it takes, Jordan Toyota, we want to be your car truck company.
What's happening, Pamela, babe? 2 Fridays.
2 pairs.
I am the creamiest, richest Béarnaise sauce.
Little Joe and Hoss really do it for you, doesn't it?
Have we got entertainment for you every weeknight on 22?
Well, certainly bundle up if you're heading outdoors tonight. We will see partly cloudy skies. It'll be kind of windy, though. Low temperature about 20 degrees, but wind chills perhaps below zero with west-southwest winds at 10 to 20. Then for Monday, the beginning of the work week for many of us, partly sunny, highs in the upper 30s. Again, it's going to be windy, so it's not exactly going to feel like summer, that's for sure. The outlook for tomorrow night, partly cloudy and warmer, low temperature around 30. And right now, Tuesday looking okay, mostly sunny, high temperature near 40 degrees. So it appears to me, Mitch, as if we could have a little bit of slush around Michiana over the next couple of days.
Well, you're right. We did have winter on Friday with the blizzard, but I mean,
briefly.
Usually South Bend, January, it's 0 at this time.
Exactly. We sure have been lucky so far as the temperatures are
That's
concerned.
right, Paul. Thank you very much. Well, 2 members of Hollywood's so-called Brat Pack are starring in a new film called Wisdom. Emilio Estevez and Demi Moore are attempting to make a strong political statement. Film critic Dennis Cunningham is quick to make his own statement.
Yeah, it's called Wisdom, but that's only because Wisdom is the main character's last name, and that's but one preposterous element of a multi-preposterous movie. Let me briefly continue the preposterosity. It stars 2 young performers who have been okay in a couple of supporting roles, but have never effectively starred in anything. Beyond that, the movie was written and directed by one of those starring non-stars who has shown little indication that he knew much of anything about writing or directing. Hey, that's preposterosity.
I let myself in. I hope you don't mind.
Not at all.
You hungry?
Yeah, I'm starved.
What's your favorite?
Chinese.
Well, enough of the madcap excitement. Now the plot. Emilio Estevez can't get a job because of a harmless youthful felony and decides the only job he can get is robbing banks. So he robs banks, but just in case that sounds interesting, let me assure you he robs banks for the people. He's a misguided Robin Hood set out to help the oppressed of the United States of America, and the movie actually intends to be a meaningful social statement about unemployment, welfare, the homeless, farmers, and various other real problems of our time. It is nothing of the sort. It also means to be a lunatic screwball comedy, too. It is nothing of that sort, either.
You know it, baby. It says here he has an explosive personality. Explosive. Good adjective. What does it say about me? It says that you're a mindless goon who follows his every order, however ridiculous. You're enjoying this, aren't you?
You talking to me? Am I enjoying this? No, I'm not enjoying this, or just about any part of this profoundly preposterous movie, going under the unlikely and dead wrong title of Wisdom, which finally gets a #1. Fairly unwise. Incidentally, our two starring non-stars, Emilio Estevez and Demi Moore, are linked romantically in real life and trapped tragically in this movie. Dennis Cunningham for CBS News.
Well, the Super Bowl contestants have now been decided. Jay Chapman has today's highlights coming up next in sports.
Schrader back to throw. Banks on a blitz. Down they goes, and there comes the ball. It's great on that side of the field now. Burt with the fans.
The following is a WSBT TV editorial. Here is WSBT News Director Larry Smith.
The flap over the Humane Society's animal control contract with the city of South Bend is a good example of why we need consolidated local government. The county should be contracting with the Humane Society, and all of the people of St. Joseph County taxed one time to pay for it. Mishawaka Mayor Robert Buter has also called for a regional solution to the problem. But since the parochial interests of the various municipalities are more concerned with protecting turf than good government, we'll have to find another solution. The Humane Society has done a relatively good job of providing services, but a poor job of justifying its budgetary needs. A spokesman for the mayor says the city of South Bend is willing to pay its share of the cost if the Humane Society will only provide the necessary budget information. The society has finally produced a half-page summary of income and expenses, but no matter what they call it, it is not a budget document. That summary page indicates a $39,800 deficit, with no hint of how the Humane Society intends to make up the difference, and no reference to contributions, which we suspect are significant, or endowments, which we hope the society has. We urge the Humane Society to be forthcoming in its talks with the city, and we encourage the city to reach agreement to continue animal control services with the local Humane Society.
This has been a WSBT TV editorial.
Basney Honda has just received special shipments of the 1987 Honda Civic four-door, and they're all on sale. For a limited time, you can own this 1987 Honda Civic four-door with no money down for only $187 a month. That's right, no money down and only $187 a month. Remember, Honda has the #1 rating in customer satisfaction, and Basney Honda has them for only $187 a month. It's just that simple.
Well, Jay Chapman is here, and I guess, Jay, you were 1 for 2 in today's games, but at least you had the guts to pick an upset.
And you were 1 for 2 also. I got to give credit where it's due.
Well, oh, shucks.
How big of underdogs were the Washington Redskins? Well, Dexter Manley's mother said that the Skins would not even win this game. The last 3 times that these two teams have met, it has been the Giants winning all 3, and that's in 11 weeks. And our pictures today from Giants Stadium of the NFC Championship Game. And the final in this game, 17-0. The Giants over the Skins. After the game, these reactions from New York's locker room.
Well, you know, a couple years back, I guess when I started here, we were 4-5, then we went 3-12-1. For somebody who's been here for 5 years and been through the lean time as well as the good times, it means an awful lot.
We always make the play at the right time this year. You know, a lot of times we've had third downs that were very important, and we always seem to make the play. And just like today, we score the touchdown on third down, it gets called back, and we score again the next play. So, I mean, it's been the kind of year where we always seem to make the play when we have to.
Now for the game that preceded the NFC Championship, Denver and Cleveland. Last week it was the Browns that sent the game into the overtime and won it. Today, the other way around. Our pictures from Municipal Stadium in Cleveland, and 2 great quarterbacks on the field in this game. That's Bernie Kosar, quarterback #1. He finds Herman Fontenot, and Cleveland led 7-0 in the first quarter. Now in the second quarter, the Browns come right back, and 7-3 they're behind, but John Elway, bad ankle and all in this game, directs his blockers downfield, 34 yards down to the Browns' 4-yard line, and then on 4th and goal, Gerald Wilhite will go wide, and Denver will lead at this point 10-7. fourth quarter. The game now tied at 13-all. And once again, Bernie Kosar sparking his team late in the game. A 48-yard bomb to Brian Brennan. Brennan will go into the end zone, and Cleveland led 20-13. But with 5:43 left, Elway orchestrates a beautiful drive, 98 yards on 3rd and 18. This is the key play to Mark Jackson that gets them to the first down. And those two will team up once again as Elway finds Jackson for the score that will send it into the extra period.
We go into overtime, our defense has to hold them, and a kickoff was important. And then Orson makes a great catch, and then the scramble to Steve Watson was unbelievable. What a great throw and a great catch by Steve to get us in field goal range. And I debated then whether to kick the field goal or try to score. So I was glad when Rich kicked it. I don't really know what happened after I saw the official raise his arm. I went running out there to congratulate Rich, and all I saw was a big wave of orange. There was just orange bodies everywhere, and I couldn't see Rich, so I figured he's down in the mud somewhere.
Denver will do well. The AFC will surprise some people this year. You know, I know they talk a whole lot about the NFC, but the AFC, you know, we play good football over here.
Once again, there's the score in the overtime. Rich Carlos, the decisive factor with a 33-yard field goal. The Super Bowl looks like this. The Giants playing in their first championship contest since 1956. And the Browns, they'll be there for the second time. The last time, can you believe this? 9 years ago. Well, we'll have the rest of the day's sports following this.
The big event is on. A very special offering sale is on now. The entire Mr. Leonard Lifestyle collection of coats, strollers, jackets, now at great savings. The most glamorous styles, the most sought-after fashions. Your favorite furs at genuine savings, priced so low you won't be able to resist. Here's your chance to save. Hurry to Mr. Leonard's for the big sale. Hurry and save now at Mr. Leonard Furs.
And for the Feat of the Week, we have several deserving nominations. For example, Clay's Ricky Miller, who continues to shoot the lights out Saturday, scoring 29 for the Colonials. Or Notre Dame last night, they came close to knocking off the number 7 team in the country, DePaul. But this week, we go north of the border, the Canadian National Junior Hockey Team, and this could go down as the brawl of the year, playing the Russians in this contest, the Russians in the red right here. This was unbelievable because this is only junior hockey, and you're not going to believe what you're watching because the brawl will spill out onto the ice from both benches. It was the Russian team that precipitated the event. The Soviet Union, of course, said that they really had nothing to do with it, but both players, or both teams rather, came out on the ice, and you can see what happened more or less. Both teams were disqualified from the medal competition. That was the Feat of the Week. And that's sports.
And the Soviets actually said they had nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
Oh, mercy. Well, final story tonight. Different twist. Stars were the center of attention of the Penn Harris Madison Planetarium today, but they were musical, not celestial stars. Planetarium coordinator Art Klinger was inspired by Las Vegas nostalgia show several years ago. He decided the planetarium's projection dome would be a perfect site for his own collection of rare footage. The show features highlights of early TV appearances by Jerry Lee Lewis, Dick Clark, the Everly Brothers, Nat King Cole, and others. Klinger says he wants to give his students a glimpse into the past.
For them, it's an historical trip into the past. They're familiar with the rock and roll because that's stuff that we see and listen to every day, and this takes them back to their roots. It's a multimedia presentation that involves videotape, slides, and special effects. It's a historical lesson for those that never experienced the 50s, and for those that did, it's a trip back into the past. It's a nostalgic adventure.
The show is known as the Legends of Rock and Roll and will be presented the next 2 weekends at the Penn Harris Madison Planetarium. And I'm sure Paul Silvestri will run out because, of course, he loves Fats Domino.
There. I'll be there.
That's right. That's our newscast for tonight. Until next week, good night.